Welcome to Revenge of the Nerds. This is a podcast about the stories that could have led to your favorite movies, TV shows, and so much more. I'm Bradley Butin, and this is
Brian S. Dennis, and the S stands for Voorhees.
Love it. All right, we will be your guides on this quest to level up your awesomeness. We will nerd out, we will get sidetracked, and we will have a great time. So, Brian, a couple of updates that we got. This is actually a pretty big week here. This is the week that we are actually launching the podcast. This is the fourth episode.
Right.
We're gonna have all 4 episodes coming out this Friday. So I'm super stoked. How about you?
I am super duper excited. So, we've been, this has been our baby for the past several weeks, and throwing out ideas and kind of going from there. So it is great that we are getting to a point to release those first 4 episodes. And I think they've been really good. And we've done what we said we're going to do. We're going to nerd out. We're going to get distracted. We're going to level up our awesome. So we do each of those 3 things every week. And it's been a ball, sir.
Awesome. So what's the topic this month? Well, not only week, but month. Yeah.
Well, at the time of recording, we're in the month of October. And of course, October is famous for 2 things, beer and Halloween. Yes. So we're going to celebrate the latter. Well, we may celebrate the former as well, but we're going to definitely celebrate the latter. With every podcast recording this month is going to have a Halloween theme. So this first one that we're doing is actually Brad and I are going to go through our top 5 favorite Halloween movies. Now, with that being said, favorite can mean a lot of things. It can mean scariest. It can mean goriest. It can be the ones that kept you up at night. Horror movies, in my opinion, the best ones also have a little bit of humor. Or it could just be the ones that just mean a lot to us. So we've not shared our list yet. So we're going to hear lists when you hear this as well. And we're going to discuss our top 5 favorite Halloween movies, horror movies.
Horror movies, yes. Well, almost the same thing, pretty much.
Almost the same.
Right. All right. Well, we might as well get right into it. What do you think?
Let's do it, sir.
All right, so we talked a little bit off camera. We're gonna go back and forth. Now, our 5 and 4 are just our honorable mentions. So we'll just go back through our honorable mentions first, and then we'll go into our top 3. So my number 5 is a movie that came out a few years ago based on actual events. And there's been 3 of them in the series, but then there was an offshoot for a couple as well. If you haven't guessed yet, my number 5 is The Conjuring.
Yes.
Okay. I felt that Conjuring, it gave me one of those. We're not going to go into our 5 and 4. So anyway, getting ahead of myself. Brian, what's your number 5?
My number 5, and I kind of led with that with what S stands for this week, is the original Friday the 13th, the 1980 movie. And you'll see this from my picks. While Freddy and Jason are probably the iconic names in horror, at least in this country, especially 80s forward, and all the sequels and video games and all this sort of stuff. I personally I've seen almost all the movies in all the franchises, but these 2 were never that. I never got that much into them. You'll see by my picks, but the original Friday the 13th, the 1981, is my favorite. And really, because if you've never seen it, the ultimate villain was not Jason. Jason debuts at the end of it, but it's also leads to another one of my honorable mentions we'll talk about here in a second. But we had Mrs. Voorhees, who was an inspiration for so many other characters. So Friday the 13th, the original, because one of I'm not an easy scare, but if you've ever seen the original movie, after they have the reveal that it's Mrs. Voorhees, Jason's debut of that arm just coming out of Camp Crystal Lake was one of the most genuinely scary moments. So again, my number 5, the original Friday the 13th.
So fun fact about that. So I grew up pretty close to a small town, Crystal Lake, Iowa. And so we would always, I dated a couple of girls from there throughout high school, but we would always go to Crystal Lake Crystal Lake and do some good drinking and some fishing and whatever. Apparently, like the world's largest bullhead was caught out of there.
Mm, mm.
It was probably mutated because when I was growing up, Crystal Lake was known to be really dirty, and
Yes.
they even
They
dredged
always
it.
have those ironic names. Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, they actually dredged it, I guess like 10 years ago or something like that. But if anybody's listening to this from or watching this, shout out to Crystal Lake, Iowa.
Well, just real quick for me on number 4, there's a small town in Georgia called Ocilla, and right outside of Ocilla, by the
Mhm.
way, we're for those of our fans, we're actually located in Iowa, and there's a
Yes.
small town in Iowa called Osceola. Well,
Yes.
Ocilla, which is in Georgia, where I'm from, was actually named after Osceola, the same Native American, but over time the name just switched from Osceola to Ocilla. That being
Nice.
said, right outside of Ocilla is literally a theme park called Crystal Lake, which
Nice.
quickly went out of business once the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
That's not the first time I'm going to mention that of how a childhood experience of one of these movies that I enjoy definitely damaged some the economy of some small businesses. But there we go.
Sweet.
So number 5 for me is Friday the 13th.
All right, number 4 for me is Saw. Saw was just
Yes.
one of those movies that, I mean, like it was just a train wreck. You had to watch it. You just had to keep on going. And I mean, they made like what 3,000
Yes.
sequels.
And there's
And
actually a series starting on Stars here maybe this week, I believe, starring Chris Rock. So yes.
Oh, Spiral.
Yes.
Oh, is it? Oh, yeah, that's a movie that came out.
Is it a movie or a series?
Yeah, it's a movie. I saw. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
the
I
theater.
was thinking it was this new series. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It so Spiral
From the
was
Book of Saw. Yes. I just love that's what they
okay.
call it, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. It was okay. Like
Okay.
it's definitely worth the watch.
Sure.
It's I figured it out by the end of the movie who it was and everything. I'm like, but okay, that's a lie. My wife figured it out and like kind of nudged me and she's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah,
give her credit. She will be listening. Give her credit.
Yes, yes. All right. What about you? What's your number 4?
All right. So my number 4, which is completely inspired by my number 5, is Scream. Yes. And by the way, if we were doing longer than 5, Saw would have definitely made the list. I'm a huge fan. The first two definitely.
Yeah.
Then it goes
Johnny
a
Wahlberg
little.
was in the first one.
Yeah, I mean, once you bring Costas Mandalorian into anything, it kind of hurts it. You know, he's he's a human shark that you've now jumped. Okay, but with that being said,
He was original... the Sharknado in Sharknado.
There you go. So one of and I was a huge fan of the Scream thing. Well, in the Screams and the I Know What You Did Last Summer, that kind of those offshoots. But anyway, I know what you excuse me, Scream, just because it has the rules of horror of how to survive a horror. You had it really re-envisioned the genre where you actually had well-known stars. Historically, horror films maybe where well-known stars start when they're not well-known, and there's multiple examples of that, versus this had well-known, established of the beautiful people of their day. And of course, that incredibly iconic beginning with Drew Barrymore and the slow build with Ghostface. And then obviously you had Courtney Cox and David Arquette. We can thank Scream for bringing those two into a very dysfunctional relationship and all those sort of things. So it's just fantastic. Seth Green doing the Seth Green thing. Really quick though. Again, a little known fact. Again, this is the information you get from Revenge of the Nerds. I give you one guess, Brad. Before they changed the name of the film that we ultimately know as Scream to Scream, the screenplay had another name. Do you know the other name of it? What was the original name? It was not, excuse me. It was actually, it was actually Scary Movie, which ironically is the name of the spoof movies that Scream helped inspire. Yes, it was Scary Movie.
That's awesome. So I know you brought up I Know What You Did Last Summer. There's an Amazon series for I Know What You Did Last Summer, starts on October 13th.
I've seen the it is one of the ones that Amazon says I should watch, keep on my eye out. So I would definitely excuse me, check it out. But there's something to be said that it's hard to top Jennifer Love Hewitt and all of her 90s Jennifer Love Hewitt in this. And Ryan Philippe being Ryan Philippe. I mean, there's just, I don't understand why.
It was just such a great movie.
It was. Oh it God. Was. Yes. But again, here's the thing. When someone steals your car, ladies and gentlemen, this is not only how you survive a horror movie, how you survive life. Yes. If someone steals your car, do not run after them, because they can change gear and not charge after you. Just really quick. Yes.
Yeah. What is it in Zombieland is when you the one of the rules is you go backwards, you roll them over or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
All right. So those were our quick ones. Very cool. I like both of yours.
Absolutely. Same for yours.
So now we're going to get into more of the meanings to the rest. And so for my number 3, the movie is older than I am by quite a few years. Okay. And it is probably one of the most iconic horror movies ever. And when you hear the intro song, you know exactly what it is. And you can see it's one of those intros where you can, when you hear it, you know exactly what it is. You see a priest walking into a house.
Yes.
If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about The Exorcist.
Yes.
This movie, I never saw it. I never saw the movie till I was in the military. Okay. So I got all the way through high school without seeing it and everything like that. And then I had a good buddy of mine. His name was Mike Roffa. Man, I should look him up on Facebook. I haven't even thought about that name in a long time. But anyway, so we would always have movie nights in his dorm room, and we watched that. It blew my mind away. I mean, just what like the Linda Blair, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Linda Blair, and the green pea vomit and soup vomit, and just the acting on that. Oh, were you playing this? Were you playing it?
Yes.
Very. Oh, I can't hear you. It's all right.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's not coming through, but yes.
Yeah. And to this day, it's apparently one of the most haunted. One of these days, I'm going to figure out my Jedi hood. But it's one of the most.
You need the Jedi man bun. That's what you need to really hold it in place.
Yeah, you know what? Instead of Laeah doing the side buns, maybe I could get a side bun wig. Or maybe we can do that. To this, but. The Jedi robe isn't gonna go away. I'm gonna get some patches for it. Man, the Exorcist, it scared the crap out of me, a grown man in a in the military, and
right,
like all my friends were like, "You've never seen The Exorcist? You have to see The Exorcist."
It is so iconic,
right? And so yeah, that's my number 3.
I mean, first off, that's a great pick. Again, it didn't make my top 5 just because I was really so as you'll see with a lot of my picks, I picked the ones, and I think this informed your list as well. Mm-hmm. The ones that had really good personal meaning. But I remember the first time I saw The Exorcist, and and ladies and gentlemen, I was tried very quickly to play the theme song, Tubular Bells, which is the most innocuous sounding name for a song that strikes terror into the hearts of many, many people. Again, the iconic theme song in the scene of the priest walking up to the house and taking off the hat, and this really distraught mom, and then you walk in again, you see Linda Blair, and I think one of the things that make that movie also so iconic is is that Linda Blair could never. I mean, she was a child when she did these films, but she was always known for this role, and she had some B-movie horror things. Yeah, it probably honestly did not help her career in one hand, but it also made her an icon in others. But she talked about just how physically stressful, if not downright painful.
Yeah.
Those roles were with the body contortions, and we all know the pea soup scene and just all these things that she had to go through. So a lot of times the behind the scenes makes it really interesting as well. But and again, we need an old priest and a young priest and all these things that have really permeated our idea of what horror. You know when something is a horror, we know when something is really iconic, especially in this genre. When if you have any, even if it's accidental, if you allude to it, that is always where people go. So the idea of any they can make a horror movie now this year, and if they have a priest, we're gonna say they stole it from The Exorcist. If they have a creepy kid, stole it from The Exorcist. It's just all those things. Whether it's so again, it's one of those things that truly is a foundation. Again, it was before both of our times, but it is such a foundational piece to the horror genre that it is an excellent pick. Very good, sir.
In like how many parts of that movie instantly became tropes for the horror genre moving forward?
Yes. I mean, and again, if you've seen Scary Movie or anything that spoofs, I mean, you have to have something about the exorcisms in there. If you've ever seen the original Scary Movie with and there's a scene at the beginning with James Woods and Andy. Oh shit, I'm gonna forget Andy's last name, but he Conan O'Brien's co-host for forever. Andy Richter. Where they definitely spoof and go really extreme with the scene. But again, it just lends itself to so many things that and it's just one of those that again, those iconic pieces of it is just fantastic. And if there is last thing on this as we move forward is we've talked before about the perfect 80s nerd film was Princess Bride, and perfect 80s nerd film theme song is the theme for Never Ending Story. The Exorcist may be the perfect horror movie because number one, it has truly scary things. It brings in a lot of religious iconography, which that makes it scary. It has so many elements of realism, which is one of the reasons why you heard me earlier say I've seen the movies, the Friday and not the movies like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street didn't get scares out of me, but it's one of those things that honestly, once the movie was gone, the fear kind of subsided fairly quickly because they're so fantastical, right? Okay, most of us are not walking down the street seeing a 6'5", 300-pound dude roll around a hockey mask and a machete. And if you do, move. Okay. I found Robert Englund much more terrifying in V than I did in the Friday the 13th movies. But that being said, there was a lot of elements of realism. Like you could see this really happening to this girl, to this family, to this priest, and that sticks with you. That sticks with you. So it's one of those things that even after the movie was over, you saw it as an adult, I saw it as a kid. But I mean, even it's one of those that honestly I watch it occasionally, but I don't watch it a lot because it sticks with me. And I don't sleep much. I don't want to give away the few hours of sleep that I do get. So yes, again, excellent.
It's one of those movies that like you're never gonna forget.
Right.
It one of the things we've talked so far about in Prevenge is the movies that we go into are these are movies that are leave an imprint on your soul. Like you're talking about the perfect horror movie, and Exorcist is probably about as close as you can get. When you say like horror, what are the movies that made horror? The first two that pop into my head are Exorcist and Night of the Living Dead. Those which almost made my list, but it
was harder when we said first. I thought, okay, 5 would be really easy, but there are multiple ones that I had to kick back.
I know.
I was like, well, and then it got to the thing of, what actually makes something horror? Is it just because it scares you? Do you go from horror, like does that includes gore? Does it include anything that can act? Perfect example, like Seven. Is Seven a horror movie? You have this, and again, we found out that Kevin Spacey's worse in real life than he was in the movie Seven. But in Seven, I kind of understood.
Right.
But, what's in the box? By the way, every time I get an Amazon package, I just have to do it. What's in the box?
Right.
But with that being said,
it's never been a hit, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
If we weren't doing YouTube and you could see my face, I maybe wouldn't care. I would maybe be more free with my answer. Whatever was in it, I paid for it through legal tender. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Gotcha.
But things you get from China, but with with those third party vendors, man.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, yes, we're gonna have to do an entire show on Wish items.
Oh,
But
dude, that sounds like fun. Well, let's do Wish reviews.
That would be great.
We'll
We'll have to add it to the idea. But again, what makes it a horror movie? Again, with everything with The Exorcist, that theme. I mean, it's almost like with Jason and the.
Yeah.
You have those things so it's got things that you hear. Again, if you had to pick the theme song of a horror movie, it would be Tubular Bells. Yeah. It's got those scenes that you absolutely can never forget. Again, the pea soup with Linda Blair. It's got those just pieces of it. Again, the old priest and the new. And all these just pieces. And again, to me, that spark of realism, that spark of this could actually happen. That's one of the reasons why I think Scream was really successful, was that there's nothing supernatural about Scream. Yeah. Yes, Exorcist has some supernatural aspects of it, but it was still grounded in. That's one reason why I like the Batman series, is that yes, you have fantastic elements, but it's still boots on the ground. This could maybe happen, right? Yeah. So again, that's why I love that pick so much. Now you got me thinking, I should have put it up higher, but no,
awesome.
But I'm glad it got talked about. Okay.
What's your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3, and again, I'm going by movies that really matter to me.
Yeah.
Which is the original version of Candyman. And the reason,
have you ever said Candyman 5 times in the mirror?
No, I promise you that. And on the off shot, that the camera that I'm looking at, which also shows a reflection behind me, may count. We've already got one. So you trust me, we may get 3 more, and then we're moving forward. So if you've not seen the movie, notice I didn't say the title. The idea of it, and it's a play on the Bloody Mary, and they've got different versions of this urban legend. And again, I like movies that play with the idea of urban legend stuff. Is the idea that you have this individual that if you say their name while looking in the mirror 5 times, they appear behind you. So again, there's multiple urban legends that have a play on that premise. But what I really liked about this film, and I will be honest with you, from a film standpoint, probably, I mean, it was. I think it's good. I wouldn't say it is great, but one of the things that I really dug is that it was the first time we really saw the star of a horror movie be an African American. And we all know that those tropes that we play into, that if you're a person of color, especially African American, kind of like if you're the really pretty blonde, or you're the black man or woman, if you're in a horror movie, you're not long, right? You're not gonna make it. Okay, you're not gonna make it. It's almost like that could have been one of the Scream rules. Like, hey,
wasn't it?
I don't know if it was one of the.
No, that was Scary Movie.
Yes.
That was Scary Movie. That was Marlon Wayans.
Right, but they played into that with Scary Movie 2.
Yeah,
they put it out forward where Jada Pinkett, and I think the gentleman that played her boyfriend, I think was Mekhi Phifer. It was either Mekhi Phifer or Omar Epps, and they didn't get past. They may have made it to like the 15-minute mark, at least in I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, Brandy made it. And Deep Blue Sea gave us LL Cool J. But you know who did make it? Samuel L. Jackson. And the L stands, motherfucker. I'm telling you, every week I'm going to do it. I've never planned, for those of you that are unaware, my goal every week is to somehow do a Samuel L. Jackson drop. That also fits. I just do it for do it, and there we go. We did that one. So check my score sheet. But Candyman was great because again, it talked about, and it really was as much a commentary on socioeconomic status. It took place at Cabrini Greens, which was this huge project, a housing project in Chicago. The majority of the cast were African Americans. That taught about, again, poverty and fear, and really how you had these Caucasian academics who are coming to save the poor Black people And then it talked about gang affiliate. I mean, all these pieces that really spoke to what happens when you have urban struggle. And then they threw in the idea of horror and with the character of and again I'm watching my number of times I say it, but the titular character had been a slave that grew up to be an incredible artist. He also fathered this would have been in the 1800s. He actually fathered a child with a white woman, and for his trouble, her father sent a lynch mob. That among the things that they did to him, they cut off his hand. They cut off his hand. They smeared a honeycomb over him, and then basically fed him to bees before burning him and spreading his ashes over the land that eventually became the Cabrini Green housing project. And at that point, his essence, his spirit is tied to that area where he's like, and again, I love that they play on things that we do see. And I think some of the best horror movies is that what gives the ultimate evil, the big baddest power, is fear.
Yeah.
And so he terrorizes population, which reflects the culture modern day of what gave birth to him. And you got all these, and then a great kind of, well, I won't say a twist on the ending, because again, as a kid watching it, and I think Candyman, that's two, came out and I tried to stop myself. I think it came out in 92, I believe. And the big the character that was played by Virginia Madsen, her character's name is Helen. And she winds up, again, spoiler alert, she winds up dying through. And I like the fact that they take the star who and if you know horror movies, so you pay attention, about 15 minutes in, you know who's gonna make it.
Right.
And then the drinking game or the fun becomes, who else? Or is that going to be the only person, right? And she actually dies, which again was a spin, but then she comes back, similar rules as the titular character, which is you say her name 5 times, look to a mirror, and you see her behind her ex-lover who had cheated on her, and there she goes.
Yeah.
So again, for so many just personal cultural touch points, that movie, which I will not say his name because I'm not going to push my luck, is my number 3 pick.
Good call. I really want to see the new one. I really bad. I haven't watched, because didn't they make 2 or 3 of them back in the day?
I believe 3.
Okay.
I do believe 3.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the movie scaring the crap out of me as a kid. But then I remember watching it like, probably 10 years ago, and it was like, this doesn't really hold up.
Yeah.
I put that in the same like category as Jeepers Creepers. Both of them were like, they're so close.
Sure.
When I started thinking of all the horror movies, then I started crossing them all out. They were on there, and I didn't get there. But
I will say Jeepers Creepers 2, one of the few times that you'll say this, I thought the sequel for Jeepers Creepers was actually better than the original. I like the sequel better.
I agree. I agree with that. It was just really cool, like, because they were waiting, like at the end, they're waiting for the thing to pop back up, which I thought was just awesome. And
with Jeepers, and with Jeepers Creeper, to me some of my favorite horror movies when you root for the monster, and for whatever reason, especially in the sequel, the kids on the bus were such jerks. I was rooting for. I'm like, plus he had really cool weapons that he would make from his own bone and flip the throwing star. I'm like, and he had the really cool wings. I'm like,
how has there not been a video game based fighting game based on all of the horror genre? I know they've worked some into Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
I know, Michael Myers has been in there. Freddy's been in there. Jason has been in there. I think Leatherface has even been in there.
I agree with you. Yeah.
But man, like that should be something all on its own.
It really, and again, we a lot of times we talk about Star Wars on this show, and I keep saying George Lucas to cut us a check. Some video game company Ubisoft or someone needs to cut us a check, because the only thing I can think of that is the hiccup is all the companies who probably own the properties. It will probably be a logistical nightmare to figure out where the royalties go. Because I'm sure because I could just see, because this actually come up with Jason, has been because there've been so many actors or stuntmen that have played the character of Jason, the person behind the mask,
Yeah.
because Jason pretty much doesn't talk. Jason's a body, right?
Yeah.
So you have so many people that have played the body of Jason that it becomes problematic of who obviously play world about what film it is, but it becomes an idea like you're trying to integrate them into a video game. Which version that each actor has different body types or what the masks look like or the clothes. So I mean, I can imagine for the different ones, but it would be just a hellaciously fun game, especially again in the ilk of Mortal Kombat. If you gave each of them like a certain special finisher, like maybe Freddy's claws bring flames, or Jason throwing a machete, things like that. The character that I will not name just throwing a swarm of bees at you, just something like that. But yeah, we need to find a developer and get in touch with we got an idea, and we'll just take a 15% finder's fee from all the millions you got to make from this. So Prevention's going to make us rich one day.
I think by the time we get like 30 or 40 episodes, you and I are going to start on a script that we're going to start sending
Absolutely.
around. Absolutely. So, leading into my number 2 choice. Now, the ones that I picked aren't, not everybody might find scary, but I mean, they're the ones that touched me the most in the horror genre.
Sure.
And this one is based on actual events again.
It's Showgirls, isn't it?
That one was pretty scary. But when I saw it, I was like 17, so I wasn't thinking of the scary aspect of it. I was thinking, why was I Saved by the Bell?
Dude, I was like, wait, why was I crushing on Kelly Kapowski again? What is this? Wait a minute. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I see what Slater was thinking. Now it makes perfect sense.
That's
I
right,
thought
Mama.
she recovered well. I just thought she recovered so well. Okay, real quick, we gotta have to do some Saved by the Bell stuff as well. I don't know what it was, but I grew up. You and I are about the same age. I grew up in the time where Dare commercial was really big, and I learned from watching you. And most of those things, again, I'm not trying to minimize drugs. So most of those things kind of were like, all right, this is a really hokey way of trying to convince me not to do something. When every part of your being development is telling you, no, go break the rules. I will tell you something about the episode where Jesse does a lot of diet. By the way, it's diet pill. No, it's or was it the pills to keep her awake? I think she had to study.
I think it's caffeine pills.
Yeah, it was caffeine pills.
Yeah.
Those terrified me because her rendition of "I'm so excited," I was like, and she broke down, and they made Zach a sympathetic creature, but he like gives her a hug. I was like, no, I'll never take that. They had me thinking this stuff was speed. I'm like, no, it broke, and I'm a nerd, so I'm like, but I want to pass tests too. Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah,
she's the super Spartan one. Yeah,
absolutely. And awesome. I requisite R.I.P. Dustin Diamond. So yes,
yes. So in my number 2, it stars Richard Gere. Is in it, and I forget who. There's a few other people in it, but anyway, it's the Mothman Prophecy.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's a story that the character that Richard Gere plays was an actual reporter for like the Washington Post or something. I mean, a pretty well-known newspaper, and he was leaving to go to this town, and he ended up driving like 400 miles in an hour, and his car breaks down, walks to one of this house that comes up, and the guy pulls a shotgun on him and pretty much tells him that he's been doing that for the last 4 days, 3 or 4 days. And then like all this weird stuff is going around, and then they get into it, and throughout time, several times throughout history, that people see this Mothman before natural disaster happens. And I remember seeing that in the theory with my best friend from the military, Jerry. I hope you're watching or listening to this, bud. Shout out to you and your fam. And it was me, you, and your now wife, Joanne. And I remember running into the dorm, like, and it was one of those movies. It wasn't like super scary, but like it definitely like leaves its mark on you. So That is my number 2.
I have seen Mothman Prophecies, and again, similar to you, it was one of those things that had, again, that realism to it.
Mhm.
The thing that, and it was also one of those, to my memory, had more of a slow plotting. I mean, it was a slow burn, and
Yeah.
those things to me are where we get truly terrified.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being scared and being terrified, and
Yes.
watching something. By the way, is alien sci-fi is alien horror? I mean,
It's both.
you can, yeah, you can kind of stretch
Yeah.
that a little bit. By the way, when you started with Richard Gere, I thought Primal Fear, because that was kind of dark.
That was
Um,
good.
yes, and proof that you never turn your back. By the way, Edward Norton has made a career playing mentally unbalanced people, which really makes you wonder.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, again, like you said, it was that slow burn. It is based on some real events. It definitely made me uncomfortable, which again, I think is, again, the sign of a true horror movie, is that which this one did not make my list. And again, as I look at this, and I don't know if it made yours, but one of the movies that also was the very first Paranormal Activity. So, and Paranormal Activity had, similar to Blair Witch Project,
Yeah.
had masterful marketing. Is
Yeah.
it real or isn't it? I mean,
Right.
and it got a little played out because it had at the moment, kind of like bullet speed for the Matrix movies. They was the first one to shoot it where they had a reason, where the guy had a camera,
Mhm.
and and they shot it like, yeah, okay, I got a new camcorder. I think he was a filmmaker, a documentarian, so he's carrying this, and they did it in a way that it struck as completely real.
Yes.
And I remember walking out of the movie theater, and the minute I was outside, I mean, the minute I was, because I'm one of those people that goes, when you're in a movie theater, your cell phone goes away, right?
Right.
So and I'm fighting the urge. But the moment I got out and pulled out my phone, and this was back in the day when internet is first on your phone, so it wasn't the
Yeah.
swiftest thing in the world. And I looked it up to see, and I saw that it actually had a cast. And it had a screenplay. Like, okay, it's not real. Okay, because I mean, I was flipping terrified.
Right.
Again, that ended. The woman in the movie, I was like, she's gotta come find me, like, So, but no, yeah, but Mothman was a great one. Mine did not is not based on true events, but I feel that it is equally terrifying. And actually, again, I think the best horror movies have an inkling of humor, which is the original Child's Play.
Very cool.
I love, love, love the original series. I love Child's Play, Child's Play 2. I love Bride of Chucky. I mean, and as they went, they definitely shifted.
Yeah.
To more humor,
right?
And they, but I even like that because it saw itself. It knew what it was. It knew where its bread was buttered. It knew what its marketing was, and it knew going more and more outlandish. And they definitely stumbled upon something with the Bride of Chucky, played by
Jennifer
remind
Tilly.
me is yes, thank you. I almost said Meg Till. I know it's Jennifer Tilly. But I mean, just all those things are fantastic. But again, looking at when that movie came out, so I lived next door to a family, because most of us live next door to a family, right? But this I was really good so this family had three boys, Rodney, Joshua, and Kevin. And Josh and Kevin and I were really good friends. And Kevin, who's the youngest, it was near his birthday when the original Child's Play came out. And a big thing, and this is one reason why I love horror movies. I've watched so many of them, some variety of time. But next time we may have to do Worst at some point. But but one of the things that my family would do, and again, I on the previous podcast I mentioned that my mom took her very small child to see Eddie Murphy Raw because she didn't have childcare. She would take us on Fridays to rent horror movies. I mean, I was the oldest, and I was 10, 11-ish.
Okay.
And we'd go and rent horror movies. So But as we're going to rent horror movies, and Child's Play had just come out, there was a line of dolls
Yeah.
called My Buddy.
Yep.
And how this movie did not get sued, and maybe it did, because this had to kill this toy line. So for those of you that are younger or actually had a life in the 80s and 90s, so My Buddy was a toy, and what it was a doll that actually talked to you. And it said things like, I'm your friend, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, all these great endearing phrases that kids should hear. Now, then you jump ahead that you have this movie, Child's Play. And if you're not familiar with Child's Play, the premise of the movie is pretty much this. So you have a criminal by the name of Charles Lee Ray, because all good serial killers have 3 first names, right?
Right.
And he is being chased by a police officer. He's mortally wounded. He goes into this factory where they're making this brand new toy. When he finds one of these dolls, and Charles Lee Ray, because again, Charles Lee Ray, he knows voodoo, because that's what every Midwestern, I think it's in Chicago,
right.
White dude knows is voodoo, right? Because that's authentic as hell.
Yeah.
No appropriation without representation. So with that, he holds his hands to the sky, and he says this spell, and with lightning comes into this factory and blows the toys all overhead, including the cop, who's unscathed, by the way. Other he flew across the room. By the way, that's another thing that you see in movies all the time, that the amount of hang time that people get from explosions and nothing happens. Like, they hit concrete walls, like, and nothing happens. Like, I've stumbled and like bumped my shoulder to a wall and need a trip to the ER. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this dude flew 40 feet against a concrete wall and he shook it off. Whatever.
Right. So it reminds me. So I'm going to interrupt you just for a second. Please there is this new show that just came out called Laeah, and it is this. It is so stupid. It is scary.
Dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
When you were talking about like being full, these people fell through a freaking portal. Yes. And they didn't even get a scratch on them.
And okay, so we got to take him and talk about Laeah, because it really, I thought, okay, and if you don't know the show, and by the way, I would like to think I'm not saying we have enough power to cancel a show, but if this podcast has the power to cancel a show, this should be the show.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, given how I would give any show a chance, okay?
Yeah,
and I don't sleep much, and I would basically stream something because I need to occupy my time.
Right.
I made it 20 minutes, if that. So
I made it through the whole episode.
Wow. And it couldn't, and please, and my fear is that it got worse from where I stopped. So the general, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, I wanted to see if it would get better. So I was like, okay.
Yes.
The bar is so low. It got to get, there it goes. Lower, lower.
Yeah.
Oh, a saber-toothed tiger. Lower.
See, I knew it was in trouble. Okay, so I will say this. In the first probably 10 minutes, it was enthralling. I was completely interested, and then it lost me with the portal thing. So what winds up happening is they're in LA. And if you know anything about LA has this attraction called La Brea Tar Pit. It's a legit tar pit where they found several fossils and all these sorts of things. So what winds up happening, there's an earthquake under the tar pit. And they have this great, and the thing of it is what makes it so sad that I think the show is going to get canceled. This is a bad show.
Yeah.
But the amount of money they spent, especially on this opening scene, because I'm sure there was some level of CGI, but they had to do some real demolition with this as well.
Yeah.
Is that you see the tar pit begin to fold into itself. There's this earthquake, and you see this family as they hop out, and they do this great scene where it's a mom, her son, and her daughter, and of course, mom and dad are on the outs, and they hop out, and the daughter is missing a leg, so she's got an artificial leg with the blade, and they're running, and the son stops, because it just always happens when people are running. Right. Some miscellaneous child falls, and her parents are nowhere to be found.
Right.
And it's usually, again, talk about gender role, it's usually a female child and a male stopping to save her.
Yeah.
So he runs back, picks her up, and of course, at that point, he gets knocked down. The little girl doesn't care; she keeps running.
Right.
Doesn't return the favor at all.
Yeah.
By the time he
flipping him
stands,
off on the way.
yeah. Thanks, sucker. He stands up just long enough for the ground underneath his feet to give way.
Yeah.
Mom is stopped and stunned, and then the collapsing ground catches up to mom. Daughter grabs her. I didn't say spoiler alert because I'm trying to spoil this show.
Right.
Daughter has her, and mom does that wonderful maternal moment where she knows her daughter can't pull her up and is really worried that she's gonna fall. She rips her hand and falls. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have established the family that you are led to believe will be the crux of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We've now killed 2/3 of them. You've got the daughter. We got the great representation of she's got a visible disability. You wonder what's going to happen to in big bad LA. They're obviously going to introduce the dad and what's going on there. And at that moment, I'm like, that's a great, strong opening.
Yeah.
From there, the entire wheels of the show fall off. Like if they would have stopped there, that's probably how they sold it, by the way. That's probably how they sold it to ABC. Is hey, there's this great, and they maybe only film that and show them. They go, yeah, let's do that, and then they go, yeah, we'll leave the portal thing out, right?
It's gonna be we're going for a Lost theme, but Lost in Time theme.
And it's a bad show when you kill people off, and they were more interesting dead. Then when you realize they're still alive, like, wait, shouldn't we care about you more? But yeah.
And then the dad was going to a job interview with the freaking military, all scruffy, not in uniform. I mean, trying to be a pilot. I was like,
he doesn't even really interview for a job. He just begs to go, hey, I know I can't fly anymore, but you got a spot for me. For a federal job, right? And all the biddies that come with it. Yeah. And we're like, okay. It's just,
that show is scary. So, I mean, it is so stupid. It is scary.
It absolutely is.
And it keeps on popping up on Hulu. Like the next thing up is that. I'm like, no.
Yes.
No.
You will not make me watch this. No.
I will not.
Hulu. So I'm with you. Whatever algorithm we're both on, it keeps going. No, you need this, and I'm sure ABC's probably like, push the show because no one's watching it. So maybe if they stream it, gives us a reason to keep it going. Because again, that first episode, they spent a lot of money on it. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So thank you for our tangent there. So that was my number 2. So I think you're up with their number 1.
My number 1 is all thankful to my sister, my wonderful, amazing big sister. You know my sister, Patty. And Patty, first of all, I love you. You're amazing. I look up to you. But my God, you have scarred me for life because of this movie. I remember watching this movie. I couldn't have been like 7. I don't even remember where. I think we're at Grandpa and Grandma's or somewhere like that. You locked me out of the house. And I remember turning around and all I saw was cornfields. We're in Iowa. To this day, just the intro of Children of the Corn scares the living crap out of me. I might even be pooping a little bit thinking about it. Children of the Corn. I don't even remember the movie. I just remember that. I remember like vaguely the weird kid like killing people and dragging them into the corn and everything like that.
Yes.
But
number 1, Children of the Corn is a fantastic movie because it really establishes that, again, that mythos of number 1, this could really happen.
Yeah.
And there is a bit of a slow burn. It is like and it plays into a lot of those tropes of, the couple and the kids and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. Again, it proves, and there's something that I feel they're names that, are always, and again, those iconic things of, the Outlander, We Have Your Woman and all that. And of course, any person named Malachi is scary.
Right.
Okay,
Automatically.
like yeah, like if you met a person named Hi, like if you were drowning and the person that's got the life preserver and you go, hey, then maybe they work at a place where they have a
Yeah.
badge and it
Right.
goes, hi, my name is Malachi Jones. No,
Nope. I'm good.
I'm gonna take my chances.
I'm
Thanks.
good. They're sharks. They're sharks. I'm good.
So of the things that you just go, what is this? By the way, there's a movie starring Tracy Morgan where he's getting a massage and the person that's giving him a massage, he goes, hey, whisper your name in my ear, and you see this figure bend over and it goes Malachi, and he then runs away. So anyway, but yes, great choice, great choice. This movie didn't make my list, but another one that reminded me of then of same similar ilk is Village of the Damned, where you've got the
Yes.
twins with the glowing eyes. So a really good friend of mine, his youngest daughter, she's super cute, but she's got really fair skin, really fair hair, and these sparking eyes. And I always go, but she's the sweetest little girl in the world. And I go, so did her twin not make it? Is that how she's good? You know, like, and he's seen the movies and he goes, that's not funny, but it really is. So yeah, but again, it's a fantastic movie. It is truly scary. And again, like you said, first off, kudos to Patty.
Thank you.
Kudos to Patty. So I'm sure she's gonna watch these. Patty, long time no talk. But I love the fact that you traumatized your brother with this. This is fantastic. So again, when I met you, I didn't know she was your sister. Like, she let me know that she was your sister, and her response is, make sure he knows that I'm the smart one. So yes, it is quite, now your brother is the nerdy one.
Yes.
So you definitely have your things, but yes, but again, I can imagine this would be, with your backstory, this would be truly terrifying.
Yeah.
Truly terrifying. And again, as someone that's lived in Iowa more than half their life at this point, this is my nightmare for living here. Would be, I would have to go to some rural part of the state. And I've actually, I'm not going to mention the town in case someone from that town sees this podcast. But when I first moved here, I had to drive to another part of the state for work. And I get I get probably about 3 hours into the drive, and the vehicle I was driving needed gas. So I'm in this middle-sized Iowa town.
Yeah.
And I pull off, and there's a Sinclair gas right off the interstate. So if you don't know, Sinclair gas has got this big green dinosaurs, this like logo. So I pull off, and it was one of those things that it was one place that the attendant was still supposed to come out and gas you up.
Yeah.
So I pull, and it's got a little cord that when you run over, you hear the bell ding, right? And I drive over that. I drive with a little hose, whatever. And the person who's working in there takes one look. My coworker who's with me is Caucasian. I'm African American, obviously. And he walks out and he sees me in the driver's seat, and he turned around and he shut the door. So at the behest of my coworker, they go, drive around. So I drive around where now we're at the stall that is right next to the door.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I thought, let's get closer and see if that makes him less racist. I don't know what my thought process was. But then he sees me. This was fantastic. It was one of those old school doors that has like the shade.
Oh no.
And he pulled the shade down. Oh. And at this point, I go, this is fantastic. Right. So my coworker's outraged. I'm from the South. I'm like, it could be worse. So I go, there's a very well-known gas station like further in the town that we can see.
Yeah.
We'll go there. It's okay. But my thought process is, why I didn't want to belabor the point, was this place feels a little Children of the Cornish, Village of the Damned. And I go, you know what? If someone shows up with the sling blade, I'm just like, I'm not doing this. So we got our gas. We went about our merry way.
Right. We'll go to Casey's.
That's actually where we went. That's absolutely where
Really?
we went. We could see one
Wow.
down the street, like it probably was maybe half a mile.
Right.
You know, I'm like, you know what, we'll go there. Okay. And we get some pizza. And again, for those of you that
Right.
are maybe not in the Midwest and not in Iowa, yes, we're talking about gas station pizza. It is amazing.
Yes.
Ask Ashton Kutcher, even more importantly, ask Mila Kunis.
Right.
And yes, I'm just and Mila, if you want to be a guest, I
We're
mean,
open.
if you can bring Ash if you want to, but if you just want to come on the
Yeah.
show and hang out, it'll
Right.
be great. All right, yes,
It'll be a good time.
yes. Yeah, and by the way, I thought your character was best when she was with Fez. Okay, all right. So
And now look at Fez. Now he's a government agent for NCIS.
yes, yes, total badass. Yeah.
Right.
So someone's got to keep Mark Harmon in check. Okay.
Agree.
Yes. Okay. So then it comes to my number one. So I had to pick again. Now this movie, truthfully, deeply terrifies me. You know, so when I looked at like Child's Play, it has some scary moments, but I also just found it wildly entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with, and I talked about the kind of culture influence of my number three movie because I'm not going to say his name. I've said it twice. The honorable mentions of just I think those foundational movies like Friday the 13th and the Friday the 13th heavily inspired Scream, which reinvigorated the genre. So my number one movie, I had to think about what movie can I honestly not sit through? Like if I sat there, it just creeps me out. I'm moving around in my chair. I'm closing my eyes. I'm doing the whole like put the hand over your eye and then kind of peek through a little bit. There's some parts of it. The dialogue is so creepy. I mute it. Like it's taking all that I have to get through it. I will watch. I have lots of friends who would just go, hey, we got to watch it. So I'll maybe get through it once or twice a year, but it takes a lot. And it's just one of those things that after I see it, I know I'm not going to get a good night's sleep. Okay. So my number one horror movie of all time is Elf. The Will Ferrell led vehicle, Elf. This story is just, it shows you the dark side of humanity.
Right.
You just have this poor child that's abandoned.
Yeah.
And he's raised by this strange man who basically puts him to work for free labor. I mean, he's a slave.
Right. Yeah.
Then he finally finds within himself to leave the servitude, but is also has such Stockholm syndrome that he still is driven to go back to this place. And when told about the trauma that he survived, told about the horrible environment which he came from, all he can say is that you sit on a throne of lies. Think about how powerful that meant, what that says for our time, that you sit on a throne of lies. There's so much that we can unpack about this movie. Will Ferrell is at his Will Ferrell best.
Yes.
And what he brings to it. Bob Newhart, fantastic on the twilight of his career.
Yes.
As part
Zooey
of this.
Deschanel.
Yes, and Zooey Deschanel being Zooey Deschanel. By the way, her last name is far too similar to a sauce.
Man, now I want pasta.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, there's just layers upon layers of this movie. So, okay. So obviously I've been a little tongue in cheek here.
That was good though.
But it is yes.
Laeah, what's the scariest movie that you've ever seen?
I've never seen a most scary movie, but if I saw one, it would probably be Daddy's favorite scary movie. Worst scary movie.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to end the episode? Do you want to say hi?
Hi. Oh, look at that. Daddy's face is now the screen.
His face is truthfully now the screen. Yes, it is.
Now you can see Dad.
Well, as we can't see Dad, now we can see Dad a little bit.
I want to do something real quick. Look at that.
Okay.
So due to what the green screen's doing, what is that? Is that a
Right?
blanket or what is that she put over you?
Double blankie.
That's her
Okay.
blankie.
All right.
Awesome. All right,
Don't
Laeah.
forget to join.
Oh, wait. Okay, we got the kitty cat coming back. Yes, hi, kitty cat. Hi, Zannah.
Also, Daddy, I tried hard.
Is she gonna let it go? I think she'll let it go for once.
I had a
I don't
book
know.
and a blanket, and I was scooching with the book.
She was scooching with the book. All right. Well, why don't
That
you?
sounds painful.
It does.
Well, my
I don't-
blanket was on there, and then the book was there.
I'm not sure how one scooches with a book, but
Yeah.
I
And
was like,
you know.
Sally was on the book.
the more you know, I guess. So,
I think you're supposed to read those things, but
I mean, maybe it's through osmosis. It could be a thing. You never know.
could be.
You look sweaty.
Well, the believe it or not, this thing is a little warmer than you think it is.
I'm sure. I'm about to say, is it a breathable material?
It's pretty breathable. I can't wait to get some patches on here.
Sure.
But oh, honey, don't leave that alone, please.
Okay.
No, yeah, just leave it right there.
That-
I'll fix. That I got another mic for.
I was thinking if that was
XLR
another mic. Yep.
Yep. And I moved things around, but I didn't tighten my mic stand down, so
Gotcha.
gotta work with that. But anyway,
Hurricane Laeah.
oh, Laeah, it's not, the mic's not on.
Oh.
That mic's not on, honey. All right, do you want to say? Do you want to say bye to Brian before you go back upstairs?
Bye, Ryan.
Bye Laeah. Bye Zannah.
All right, kiddo. I'll be up in a little bit.
It's honey.
Yeah, it's Zannah.
Yeah, it really is Zannah.
Yep. All right. Okay. And Elf.
Yes.
You made some solid good points on
I do what I do. Yes.
and-
Yes.
on the case of making Elf a horror movie, and I'm all for it.
I mean, I think it has those pieces. I think it does. And obviously for folks, I know Elf is a treasured Christmas movie by many people. I just, as a general rule, though, I am not a fan of Christmas movies. I am one of those people that can say I have never seen the entirety of This Is a Wonderful Life. It just loses something. I've never seen a Christmas all the way through. When you say Christmas movies to me, there are really only three. Scrooge, starring the incomparable Bill Murray, Lethal Weapon, because I'm sorry, if it happens at Christmas, it's a Christmas movie, which also leads to the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard. Yes, sir. So
Yes.
those are those. So we've kind of buried the lead for maybe some other holiday shows we'll do, but absolutely, my number one movie would totally be Elf when it comes to the most terrifying movie I've ever seen.
I definitely dig it. That I'm honest. I'm kind of surprised that we didn't have duplicates on our lists. I
was really surprised as well.
I had some good honorable mentions that would have made it on there. So that is good. Now we are going to move on to our segment of the week.
Yes.
And for the first time, I am not going to bring up a scenario, a what if, but we're going to play a game of Who Am I? So I'm going to give you my clues. I have 6 clues, but I'm going to let you pick 1 through 6, and I'll give you that hint.
Okay.
And then I'll let you give a guess.
Okay. All right. So is there any logic to 1 through 6? Is 1 more obscure and 6 is more specific, or are they just 6 different clues?
They're just 6 different clues, but I will say there's a couple of them. There's one of them that if you get it on that one, you'll get 1 million cool points, and I will never be able to catch up with you.
Okay. Well, I'm probably gonna blow it now, but it doesn't like pressure. Let's see what we got here. Okay. All right. So we'll start with number 5 then. And
that's the one I'm talking about. Okay, that's the hard one.
Okay. Right.
Some look bad.
Some look bad. And do I get a guess per?
Oh yeah, you can guess. And bad is BHAD.
BHAD.
Bad.
Oh my goodness. What is that? Oh man. Bad. It's at the tip of my tongue. Some are bad. I know eventually I'm going to get this, and I'm going to kick myself for not being able to get it off of BHAD. All I'm seeing now is the meme of the girl that goes, catch me outside. How about that? Oh God, some of these are bad. Okay, I'm not sure. We got to go next clue.
Go ahead.
Let's go number 2.
Number 2. I'm around during the day and night.
Around. So I feel like around is all right. Let's go clue number 4.
Okay. You got to be willing and able. So
Brad,
far,
this is good. This is good.
Far, I'm around during the day and night.
Yep.
You got to be willing and able, and some look bad. BHAD.
Some look bad. I refuse to need all 6 clues, but I am going to need another one. Let's go clue number 1.
Okay, so I have been many people.
Some of these are bad. I'm around in the day and the night. I've been many people. I feel like there's one clue for me. Okay, I've been many people. I'm around the day of the night. Some of us are bad. And then what was the other clue? I think there was.
You got to be willing and able.
Slayers?
Nope.
Not vampire slayers. Okay. Okay, give me clue 3. This is good.
I've been around since July of 1940.
So this is a bad BHA.
I'm actually the last clue is the one that I'm like, okay, this is the one that you'll probably get it off.
All right, let's give it to me then.
My girlfriend was murdered and stuffed in a fridge.
I give up because it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't. Right.
So I'm gonna give you a hint. Sure. On the some look bad, bad is B is 2, H is 8, A is 1, and D is 4. 2814. I will give you that hint.
I'm looking bad. I'm from America right now.
2814. Okay.
Okay, I got to call. I'm saying uncle. Right. What is it?
Green Lantern.
Oh!
Sector 2814. Some look
bad.
Yes. My girlfriend, Kyle Rayner, was murdered and stuffed in a fridge. You got to be willing and able.
Oh, wow.
I've been around since 1940. I'm around day and night. That's the oath. And I've been many people. So extra points for you. Can you say the Green Lantern oath?
Brightest day and darkest night. No evil. Hang on, let me think. I used to know. I actually okay, so I used to be a Toastmaster. And that's the day of a speech on the Green Lantern, and the oath is both. It bookends my speech at the beginning and the end. If I can remember. Okay. Sight. Okay, in darkest day and brightest day and darkest night.
Blackest night.
Darkest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Those who worship evil's might, beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Yes, so close. It's the only thing you messed up is you said black, or it's blackest night. So in brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape
the blackest night.
Let those who worship evil's might, beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Yes. Which again, by the way, real quick, favorite Green Lantern.
Kyle Rayner.
I should have known the creativity. I go back and forth. I love John Stewart for obvious reasons, but there's something that can be said for Hal Jordan. And then of course the Alan Scott Green Lantern, which his power doesn't work on wood. That just always struck. A, his power is magical, and B is like, wait, wood? of all the things. It's almost like Megamind with the copper. Like
Right.
copper's your weakness is copper. Your weakness is wood. So I can beat you with like a pencil. Like that.
Right.
That's all it takes. Like you know how much wood is everywhere. Like if you were to green real quick because I know I want to get to mine. But if you were like a criminal and you want to escape the Green Lantern, just go in a forest. What you gonna do?
Right.
What you gonna do, bro?
Yeah.
Come on in.
You got
What
nothing.
do, bro?
That's why that Green Lantern only lasted like I don't know. I don't forget, but yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't go to like a paper company. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Do something. I got pulp, man. I got pulp. Okay. All right. So, by the way, great. That was a great
Thank
one.
you.
I'm gonna come with a really hard one next week. I think you're gonna get mine this week. Okay.
I thought the bad. I was actually pretty proud of the bad.
The bad is great.
I was like, some look bad. Like I was like, how could I incorporate 2814? Yeah. Then I'm like, ooh, okay, bad. I'm like, how do I get like some are? Well, Hal Jordan was, but that didn't really make but they look after Sector 2814. But hey, all right.
Absolutely. And the 2814 was what was on the tip of my tongue. And I go, I know this, I just couldn't pull it. So very good. Very, very good. Fantastic. Okay, so here's mine. I don't know if I'm going to stump you, but now I really want to. Okay, so let me give you the premise of my quiz. Okay. So in the spirit of Halloween, and I'm going to tell you, I think this is what I'm going to do for the podcast for this month, is I'm going to describe a character from the Nerdverse, which I think is what we're going to call all of those things we're into, the Nerdverse.
Okay.
And I'm going to, if this character, and some of these actually may be this, but if this character was a Halloween costume, I'm going to describe it as like a commercial.
Okay.
Right? And then see if you can guess the name of the character who is this Halloween costume. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to give me a commercial, and I'm going to try to guess what the commercial.
Absolutely. I'm going to sell it, and then we'll see if you can guess it. Okay. So here we go. Some people call this outfit a purple people eater. Others call it Captain Half a Planet. But this costume only be worn at the most stylish of Halloween parties. It comes with an incredible array of accessories, especially for those of you that like jewelry. So understand that whether we're talking the beginning or the end of the party, this is the outfit for you. So what character would this be their costume? What character am I describing?
I'm getting a Catwoman kind of feel.
Really? Okay.
The jewelry part, the purple, because Catwoman's big thing is purple.
Yeah. Is that your final answer?
You know what? Give it to me again.
All right. Some people call this outfit a purple people eater. Others, Captain Half a Planet. This costume is only to be worn at the most stylish of Halloween parties with its one-of-a-kind accessories, especially the jewelry.
Captain, okay. Oh, now I'm thinking maybe a Sailor Moon, Half a Planet. You know what? I'm going to follow my gut. I'm going to go with Catwoman.
You are incorrect. So the character is Thanos.
Oh, okay.
The purple people eater.
Gotcha.
Half a planet. The stylish,
very cool, very cool.
Jewelry. So yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking female. I
can totally get it. The stylish piece, yeah. By the way, do you prefer, because with Catwoman, it's been either the old school purple. I'm not sure which is first, actually, the purple outfit or the black grayish. Which is your favorite Catwoman, the purple or the more black gray?
I like the purple.
Okay.
I like that. Right. I like the purple because I think it goes better with Batman.
Okay. All right. And then as we're getting ready to wind up our level of awesomeness for this week, last question for you, sir, because when it comes to Catwoman, so you've got the variety of Catwomen from the 60s show, the Lee Merriweathers, the Eartha Kitts. Then you've got Michelle Pfeiffer. We're definitely not going to mention Halle Berry. And then you've got Anne Hathaway. So just the live action cat women, not including Halle Berry. That does not count.
Agree.
Yeah, and that the outfit was fantastic. The movie was horrible.
Right.
Who's your favorite?
So if you would honest, like the animated Naya Rivera would have been if you include
she was so good, but again, R.I.P.
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt is fantastic.
Eartha Kitt would be my favorite, my favorite Catwoman because she brought that purr, that meow.
Yeah, she was the most
character.
Yeah, she brought a feline energy to it. Like, I have a cat. I'm thinking, anyone that is a cat owner, if you had to think about if your cat was a person, Eartha Kitt, like you said, the purr. I mean, it was everything. The purr is the most iconic piece.
Yeah.
But just the way she moved, the way she talked, the way she enunciated, everything about her was very sleek. And again, this is a 60s show that was quite subversive, by the way.
Right.
But I mean, she brought so much sexuality to it to justify with the glint, the way she looked. I mean, she rocked the outfit, obviously. I mean, Eartha Kitt.
I mean, Julie Newmar was really good too, but I think with like Julie Newmar, it was more sexual than Eartha Kitt.
And there was Eartha also, to me. Now, again, my choice would have been. I just was so impressed with Anne Hathaway, but at the same time, I never call her Catwoman. So part of me go, if you never call her Catwoman, she's really Catwoman. And she also was really open to killing people.
Right.
But so I'm probably going to lean into Eartha Kitt as well. But with that being said, I mean, one of the great things about her, Michelle Pfeiffer, I thought was really good, but pre-transformation, there was a neediness to her. Some of the others it seemed like they were more interested in being Batman's girlfriend than to be a villain. Eartha Kitt, again, this has been a 6, but if we could move that 20 plus years forward to making it to casting her as Catwoman in the Tim Burton films, I mean, she absolutely was Batman's foil, and she again was on par, with Batman, which I think is what you always want from Catwoman. So I think this is this may be the first time we're going to come out with the exact same place that my favorite Catwoman as well would be Eartha Kitt. And again, a close second would be Anne Hathaway, but again, I think she's just as iconic as you could get. That. By the way, did you happen to see there was a news article that came out where Michael Keaton put on the suit again, and he goes, he can still
fit into my 30 years.
Yes, but you got to give him credit.
Man, give him credit. That's awesome. I can't wait for the Flash movie. Oh boy.
Yes. Awesome. So this is all looking really good. All right, sir. So that was a fun one.
That was fun. We're going to bring some more Halloween goodness next week. So, Brian, where can everybody get a hold of you at?
As always, you can track me down on Facebook, Brian Steven Dennis. Feel free to send me a friend request, shoot me a message. And definitely, again, if you decide to follow me or become a friend, lots of my posts are, again, very nerdy, try to bring a little humor to your day.
Awesome. And you can tweet at me at Fandemic3. However, it might take me a while to respond, or you can message me on Facebook. Look me up at The Fandemic. Now, if you find value in the content that I'm producing, please consider supporting the show. Maybe you will be the next host of one of them. How can you support the show, you ask? Well, let me tell you. You could go to Patreon at patreon.com/thefandemic. I got 3 tiers of awesomeness. So you might win cookies. You could, for 1 tier, you could be a part of the show, and you get the episodes a day early. So there's a lot in there. I'm also going to be adding more in there as my brain keeps working, and I'm adding content. So other than that, thank you, or you're welcome for leveling up your awesomeness. Have a great evening, Brian.
All right. And remember, as always, no one is as awesome as you.